Okay. So this is July 23rd, 2021. I'm definitely on the phone with Connie. Hello, Connie. Hi, Connie. So what's your full name? Okay, how do you spell that? Okay, thank you. Is there any special meaning behind your name? Okay, thank you. Could you tell us a bit more about your business? What inspired you to start this business, and why did you get into this field of work?
So it was actually a small shop. It used to be a small shop, and I started getting the business. It was named Manila Barbecue, although I don't sell barbecues. It's a grocery store. At first, I was told the first owner. I was actually the third owner. The first owner of Manila Barbecue. It was used to be a KTV, like a restaurant, a small restaurant. So that's why it was named Manila Barbecue. And Manila, as we all know, is the biggest city, the main city in the Philippines. So when you heard the word Manila, it will probably give a notion that it's a Filipino shop or a Filipino business. So yeah, it was a restaurant at first, and then when the second owner took the business, it becomes a grocery until I got the business as well. So I didn't change the name because it has been in New Westminster for maybe before before I got the business. It's been there for maybe 20 years. So it's been known to Filipinos living in the West. The store has been known to them for such a long time already. So that's why I decided not to change the name of the business, because it was already well known for Filipinos living here for so long. So yeah. And the story behind acquiring that business was 10 years ago. I have two small kids. Well, actually, I was pregnant with my second son. I used to work in an ICBC, or an auto insurance company. And then I decided, when I had my second son, before I gave birth to him, I decided, okay, I need a job or a business where I can have my own time to be with my kids or bring the kids at work. So opportunity comes in. Somebody offered us a business, so I just decided, okay, maybe I can try, because my background is I was raised in when my parents own a rice shop. It's like we do sell retail rice back home in the Philippines, and we grew up with that business. So somehow I have a little introduction about doing some customer service. So that's why I decided, okay, maybe I can try, and if it doesn't work, then maybe after 3 or 5 years, I can just sell the business then. But, it did work for me having 2 small kids, younger kids. So although for 10 years or for the first 5 years of that business, my customer knew that my business hours is a little shorter because I have to tend for 2 small kids. So of course it's just stable. The business is just stable and stagnant. It doesn't really, money or the income is okay, but not beyond what is expected for having a business that will expand, right? So, and then after 10 years of doing Manila barbecue business, so I'm actually well known to my customers because we do remittances, sending money to the Philippines. So that's why I do have a lot of Filipino customers. And so now we have the opportunity to move to a bigger space because my previous shop is too small, and the location is not quite visible to some Filipinos in the new Filipinos living in the area. So they doesn't know anything about my shop. Only those who have been in my shop before or my current customers. But then when we move to a bigger space, and the location is so good, we're very visible now. I'm getting a lot. My customers doubled, and it's good. I think the business is doing well, especially this pandemic. If you are selling, food or anything that's essential, I think that's such a blessing indeed, because not all businesses did well for these past 2 years. So yeah, we're quite lucky to be like that.
Okay, thank you. So has the business always been on 12th Street, or did you open somewhere else and then move to 12th Street?
Actually, the business has been along 12th Street. We just moved almost across my old shop.
Mm-hmm.
On that side where the donaire is. Although where my shop is located right now, it used to be a thrift store, an SPCA thrift store, and it's a big location. It's just that it's been vacant for almost 2 years. I think there's a lot of businesses trying to open on that location. It's just that pandemic happens, and some of them has a lot of issues opening up their business, their kind of business on that location. It's just that I think I just got so lucky that it's as if it was really given for me. It's been waiting for me. So that's why when we see the opportunity, because this pandemic has gave us an idea to expand or to make my shop a little bigger or transfer to a different location. It's just that because of the space, I think everybody needs a bigger space during the pandemic because it limits the people coming in my shop. So yeah, so that gives us an idea. Okay, why don't we inquire about this location across the street? And it's a good thing too, because it's not too far from the original location, so it's not so hard to find for my customers as well. They won't be surprised not to see me along 12th Street, because I've been in this area for 10 years before I moved to a bigger location.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of the pandemic, how did the pandemic affect your business, and how did it affect you personally?
Well, business-wise, I would say that the pandemic is it doesn't it gives me a lot of opportunity. This pandemic made us realize that having an essential kind of business, like we do sell essential products, that it will survive anything, right? I mean, if we can hear a lot of businesses, even the restaurant businesses folded, a lot folded, and malls are trying to figure out ways to get a lot of customers right now. So I think this pandemic made us realize that we're still blessed to have this kind of business, because other than the selling essential food, I don't think we can survive this for almost 2 years. So I guess it gives me more business, although there's a lot of protocols to follow, but it's okay. It's for everyone's safety. Although during the first part of the pandemic last year, we tried to open shorter hours. It's because I'm just manning my business alone at that time, so there's nobody who can help me, and I do have 2 kids to take care of, their safety. So I think we just decided to, okay, let's just shorten the time. I only open half the day for, I think, a month during the first months of pandemic. But then after that, we realized, a lot of people are, looking for us. They still need to send money, and so they can help their families back home that was hit by pandemic as well, because it's a worldwide thing. So I think it's it did affect us at first, but then we tried to we tried to make a decision to just open up, and so we can still help a lot of people in the community as well, because they need to buy food, right? And some people during that time last year, they don't want to go to big businesses because they don't like the lineups, they don't like crowded space, and they're quite scared of what's happening around them. So I think having a small business at that time during the pandemic is an advantage. It's because you get to limit people inside your shop, and I think that's what made them feel a little safe at that time. And it did doubled my income.
Wow.
During the pandemic. Yeah, surprisingly, it's a blessing for me. I want to put it that way. It's more of a blessing, not not hard and trying times. So it's more of a blessing because it doubled my my business income. So yeah, so I must say we're so very lucky to have that kind of experience during the pandemic. That's why we decided, okay, when we saw this location, it's double or triple the space I had. So yeah, we grabbed it because we knew from the start that we can survive this trying time.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're doing well during the pandemic.
Yes.
In your opinion, how did the pandemic affect the communities on 12th Street? And if you can share any examples of this.
I think the community, what I experienced manning this business, this grocery store business, I think people are at first very scared, So that's why there is a little hoarding, although that's why I tried not to suggest or try to, how to say it, scare them that, oh, we got the scarcity of the, although it did happen once, because I'm selling Filipino goods. It's mostly imported, so we're having a trouble trying to make it balance between making the prices high because of the scarcity, the demand, the supply and demand, the law of supply and demand, right? But then after that, I think people now are, I could say, we are not really, the community, we're not really, when it comes to their spending habits, they're actually not very affected by it. A lot of people lose their job, but the government's help, I think, is a big thing surviving this pandemic in the community. It's because they were given at least help, a financial help to get by. They can get their food. I mean, comparing it to where my country was last year, it was really terrible, because a lot of people loses their job and yet they didn't have any financial aid from the government. But I think here in Canada, having a financial aid helped a community to survive. So I don't think there is a lot of difference. It's just that their spending habit doubled. That's what I can say. It's because they are a little afraid that there will be scarcity of food, of what they need. So that's why they were getting a lot of things that they buy. So yeah. So I think that's one of my observation during those times. But now it's already normalized. It's normal now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So you have been your business has been on 12th Street for 11 years. Could you describe 12th Street for you, like throughout these years, and how has it changed over the years?
Pardon me, can you repeat the question?
Oh, could you describe 12th Street for us, and how has it changed over the years in your experience?
Which one? What?
Could you describe 12th Street for us, like the community, like the
Street.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. 10 years ago, 12th Street is how to say it? It's a little quiet, because it's been like only a few shop is open, and mostly they are mom and pop shops. I mean, it's it's not as vibrant as now. 10 years ago is okay, but now it's even better. I would say it helps a lot when the government is taking care of the whole 12th Street, trying to make it beautiful, trying to make it safer. And yeah, I guess New Westminster is a small community where people at least know each other. So, but now I'm having a good review from my customer that they were very happy to see me to have a convenience store in the corner, just like what my shop is doing right now. Because they said it makes life easier. I mean, as we all know that people in the West, we do love to walk, right? We do love to. Everything is a walking distance. So they love it. They love now how 12th Street is very vibrant. It's very safe. So I think that matters at all. That's what matters. When people feel it's safe, it's a friendly neighborhood. You felt like you can just walk there even after dusk. It's okay. You don't feel like threatened. So I think that's what matters along 12th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a lot of newer shops, a lot of restaurants, a variety of restaurants, although we still have a lot of more opportunity. And I think, as what I heard, they are trying to make 12th Street more of a multi-purpose buildings soon. So, yeah, why not, right? So I think 12th Street will going to be the second, uptown in the West, but slowly. Yes. So yeah, that's what my opinion is about being on 12th Street.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask more about your business. So what's a typical day like for your business?
Pardon me?
What's a typical day like for your business?
For me, what's difficult is having, the prices are going up, especially now. Because you can't help it, right? Because everything is imported, everything is, going up. The prices are going up. It's just that you're having a hard time, to make things balance.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying, because you also trying to help the community not to feel like everything went up, the prices is going up, but you also wanted to survive as a business, right? So I think that's the most difficult thing to consider right now, because even the salary went up a little. I think if the products the prices are going up as well, it's nothing. They cannot really feel that their salary increases a little when everything is going up. So yeah, I think this is the most difficult decision to make, is to make everything in balance. Like, you want to help the community not to feel like they cannot afford to get to buy this the food, and then you are caught up in a way that you cannot do anything about it. It's because we are retailers, we are small, and the thing is, what's difficult is you are competing with the bigger companies like Walmart, where they can get lower prices because they are buying in bulk, while the mom and pop store, just like my store, the small store, retail store, we are trying to make things work, right? Mm-hmm. So it's so hard if you are competing with big companies.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I want to ask, what's a normal day like for you operating your business?
Okay, the normal thing for me operating a business, having a business of your own. Well, I'm speaking it when I was just alone, doing a lot of things in my shop, because now I have a bigger store. I have to hire people, my employees as well. But if I'm talking about 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I'm just doing it on my own, what's hard is when you are a store owner compared to being just a mere employee. When you are an employee, you don't think a lot about, a lot of things, right? You just think about what's your daily task at work, if you can finish what was asked for you to do, and that's it. At the end of the day, by 5 o'clock, you're done. You can go home, and you don't think about anything at all, right? But if you are a business owner, it's very difficult. It's rewarding and difficult as well. Rewarding in a sense that I am working in a customer service, in a retail customer service business. It's more of being personally, you are being a friend to a lot of people. You know their stories, you know them well, you know their families. It's just like a big family for you. That's rewarding for me when people they are trusting me of anything, right? But then it was difficult for me in a way because as a business owner, you get to think a lot of things, even at home and you get to work long hours as well. And when I was working alone, I have to close on Sundays. It's because I still have two small kids to look after. It's just that, try to balance your family life and your business. So I have to sacrifice that one day. It's because it's for my kids. I have to balance my time with my kids as well because they're small and they are still, very asking a lot for my time that I cannot give when I'm working, because I am working almost like more than 9 hours a day because I own the shop. It's just that, that's the difficult thing. You get to work long hours. And you think a lot of things, even at home or before you sleep. You have to think of things that you have to do the next day or that you don't want to miss, right? When you're running a business. So I think that's the only thing. It's just that I just only count about what's rewarding about being a business owner. So that's the positive way of thinking about it. It's that you have to, what are the rewards of being the business owner. So I just don't want to think about more of the negative part of it.
Okay. You've talked about having like good relationships with your customers. So tell us a bit more about your customers. Do you have any fond memories or interesting stories with them?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stories. You know what? My role as the owner of Manila Barbecue, I'm a psychiatrist. I could be their sister, their family. I could be their daughter. I could be anything for them. Sometimes I give them immigration tips as well, or just hearing their problems at home, back home. It's kind of like the thing about having this kind of business is like you are not only doing business with them. You are also listening to them. You have to know them because that's what they want, somebody to talk to, right? It's quite surprising to that some customers, they felt like you are the person that who can be trusted, who will listen to them, because sometimes there are people, they have problems at home and they are not very comfortable talking about it with their friends or somebody close to them, but they are very trusting to tell their problems to me. They don't even really know me. I'm just a shop owner, and I think that's one of the things, I guess, that makes that, how to say it, that's a difference, because there's a lot of Filipino store in the area. We have one on 10th. There is one along Edmonds, and that's Filipino store, and there's one more in Queensboro. But why do these people keep coming back to my store? It's because maybe they felt like they are a family. I'm trying to be very honest with them about my opinion about this. Like, for example, if they are sending money, and sending money is a very difficult task, right? For me, it's because they are trusting you their hard-earned money. So why would they come back? It's more of they felt like I can be trusted. I because that's the thing that I always try to give my customer, that I'm not going to let you do something that, or I think I told them that I will tell you right away if it's good or not. That's what they want. You need to be very upfront. You need to be very how to say it. It's very truthful. That's when you get their trust. So yeah, a lot of problems, kids problem. Well, now that I have a teenager, so we get to share now their problems with their kids, with their families. So yeah, they just basically needed someone who will listen to them. Not, it's like telling your problems with a friend who will not judge you, who will not, who will not try to tell you have to be like this, you have to be like that. They just need somebody to listen to them. So that's why I get very close with my customers. Even if they were already in Suri, they keep on coming back to me. They are still my customer. They still come to my store. So that's one of the secret. It's being trusted by your customer. That's a big part of the success of Manila Barbecue. Some Filipino store, well, a lot of Filipinos, or whatever they are selling, I'm selling it too, right? Because we only have like a few distributors here. So what keeps them coming back is they felt like we are family. I know their family back home, even with just their names. Oh, I know this is their moms. And they love it when you are always asking, how that skill, that kind of skill of remembering a lot of things. And you keep on asking. I mean, it's part of my duty as when they are sending money, right? To know why they are sending money, because it's one of the you have to know your customer. But they love it when you are asking them, how are you? How's the family? How's your mom that was sick last week? Is she okay now? They love it when you let them know that you care, that you are concerned with their family. And I think that's one of the best trait that business owners need to have to survive. It's because you are trying to you are making them feel that they are your family, that you know their family. Yeah, so that's a secret.
Okay, well, it sounds like a really nice place. It seems like you and your customers have a very good relationship.
Yes, we do. For 10, you cannot survive more than 10 years because you get so tired after 5 years of having, you get burned out, right? It's the same thing all over again every day, every week, every month. So it's gonna be very tiring if this is not your cup of tea. This is not what you love to do. You really need to love what you're doing to stay in this kind of business. So yeah, I think that's the main thing about staying in this business. You have to care for the community. You have to care for your customers.
Okay, and just to clarify, by sending money, you mean your customers would send money back home to the Philippines through your shop?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that's a service you provided, but okay, thank you. So tell us a bit more about your employees. How did you find them?
Oh, which one?
Like just your employees in general. Like where did you find
employees.
them? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. That's a good thing to say. My employees are usually my sister-in-laws. It's family.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during the pandemic, a lot of them got few hours at work, so I have to give them extra working hours. So they say charity begins at home, right? So you have to give work for your family first, because they are trusted people, and then. But the thing is, some of my employees are my customers too. They are my customers who are coming to my shop, and then one time one of my employees told me that she used to be a caregiver, and then the family who she works for doesn't need her now because of the pandemic, so they are cutting off. So she loses a job. So now I have to, and because I know that customer for a long time, and she's a nice lady. So I asked her, do you want to work with me? I can, although I already told her up front that I can only give you a few days or a few hours, just to help her at least have work, right? So yeah, and that's usually where I got my employees, from my customers.
So it's a family-run business, but you also find employees among your customers.
Yes, because you know them, right? If you know your customer, you know that this is a nice lady. So but the only thing that I always ask to my employees is to be nice to our customers. Because I have to impart that kind of values to them. That the reason why I get to be in the business for a long time, it's because I take care of my customers. Give them respect, give them, as much as how you would want to be treated as a customer, right? You have to treat them just like that. Because if you are a customer and you don't get to see a smile, or you don't get to be, helped, it doesn't feel good, right? If you are a customer, so they just have to put their feet in that shoes, so at least they know how it feels if you are not being taken care of as a customer, right? So that's the only values I always tell them when I hire them. You just have to love the customers. You just have to be very helpful, very patient. We got a lot of different customers, different personalities, but then still give them that. Even if they are rude, even if they are, very impatient, then you have to double your patience when it comes to the customer. So I think that's the only requirement I always ask to my employees.
And you said that you have children. Do they help out in your shop? Do they take an interest in this business?
Oh, actually, my daughter, she's 14 years old. Now she's working in my shop for at least, because for now that the summer, and we have a longer days, right? Longer, sun. She always come to my store at least an hour every day from 7 to 8. She gets to help. Of course, I give her salary because we need to bribe so she can go to my shop. But then she gets to see how everything works. I always tell her, you have to treat us as your employer. You cannot think about us being your parents. You can just go to work if you want, or not to work if you don't like it, if you don't feel like it. And I always tell her to be on time, to be in the shop on time. She cannot be late, even if we are the parents. Because I always tell her that she needs to practice those kind of good traits as an employee. Because we always tell her, we are your parents and we own the shop, but you have to treat us as your employers. And you have to treat your co-workers with respect, with their time. You cannot be late. You have to be there on time. It's not because you are the daughter of the owner. She should always practice good working habits. Because even if she doesn't want to take over the business from us, at least when she go to different companies or different if she get to work with different people, she got that good working etiquettes or working habits. Yeah. So yes, and then I think my son for now he doesn't go to my store to work, but he's very interested. He always wanted to take over the business for now. He doesn't have anything yet in his mind, but I told him maybe in a year he can start working in my shop as well.
How old is your son?
Oh, my kids are 14. My daughter is 14, and my youngest is 11.
Okay. And does your daughter like the job?
Yes, she's the one going to my shop for an hour at least.
Okay. Do you have any pets?
Pets?
Yes, like cats
Oh, no,
and dogs at home. No?
Yeah, well, my kids love to have one, but I think they're still very young to have a pet. It's because we want them to realize how hard or difficult the responsibilities of having a pet. It's not just having a toy that when you like it, you want to play it, right? And then when you don't want it, you can just dispose it. No, it's a living creature that, like a family, it's not supposed to be like a toy. So we have to make them realize first how hard to have a pet. Although we do love to have, because my husband, he's a pet lover from when he was from childhood. But only now that he doesn't have a pet, it's because, we have two kids who doesn't know how to look after the pet yet. They just love the pet now, but we are what we fear, me and my husband fears that if they don't want it anymore, then the responsibility will be left on me and my husband. So we'd rather have a pet when we knew that our kids are very responsible to take after.
Okay.
So they need to value that it's a living creature, not a toy that they can just dispose of when they don't like it anymore.
That's very good lesson. Could you tell us a bit more about your husband? Where did you guys meet?
Oh, okay. Me and my husband, I knew him because of friends. He has, I do have a childhood friend back home in the Philippines, and they are already here in Canada, and they are friends with my husband. And so they set us up to meet in the Philippines when he went home for a vacation. So that's when we met. And we knew, and from then, everything took off, and we got married. And then he brought me here.
Great.
So that's how our story happens.
And does he help you operate the business, or does he work a different job?
Well, actually, he has a different job. I told him to keep his because he's in an IT job. So right now he is working in my shop. Inside my shop, he has an office in my shop at the back. And actually, the thing is, I am responsible for the customer service and the operation of the shop. And my husband is on the, how to say it, more on the technical side of the business. He's the one looking after all the trades, especially if I need AC or our internet connection has trouble. So he's the one doing the technicalities of the business. So I'm more of the customer side on the upfront. He's at the back side of the business. So yeah, we do help each other a lot. So he does all the errands as well.
And what language do you speak at home?
Oh, we speak Filipino. That's our language back home. Although my husband's parents, who lives with us, they are speaking the dialect in their province, in one of the province. So I cannot understand that, but mostly we speak Filipino at home. Even my kids, they were born here in Canada. I have to teach them how to speak the language. So we are Filipino. We use Filipino at home, even my kids. So when if my customer hear my kids speaking Filipino, they were always surprised. They will always ask me, were they born in the Philippines? No, they were born here. So how come they can speak the language fluently? Well, you have to teach them and you have to talk the language at home, right? So they can practice, because if you don't talk to them in your language, then they will never learn and they will never get to speak the language fluently. So that's why at home, because I remember when they were born, my daughter was born. My dad and my mom visited me from the Philippines, and my dad told me, you have to teach your kids, or you have to teach your daughter how to speak our language, because otherwise I cannot talk to her, because they are not fluent. They're not English. They don't talk English fluently, although they can understand a bit, but they cannot talk fluently the English language. They can only speak the Filipino language. So he specifically asked me if I can teach my kids how to talk our language, to speak our language. And so I followed my dad, and it's just an experiment actually, because I do know a lot of Filipino families in Canada that the kids doesn't speak the language anymore. They can understand a bit, but they cannot cannot speak the language fluently. It's just an experiment for me and my husband to try teaching my daughter and my son to talk the language, to speak the language at home. And yeah, it did well, because they are speaking it fluently. Because I always, you know what, honestly, I always, I'm envious of other ethnicity in the area, or even, Indian families, Chinese families. The kids, even if they were raised here or they were born in Canada, they speak the language fluently. So why can't we do that, right? So that's what me and my husband decided. Okay, why don't we do an experiment and see how it goes? If they will learn the language, well and good, right? If they don't, if they're having trouble learning the language, okay, at least maybe they can just understand, right? But the thing is, that's the good thing about it, is now, if they know that, if they hear you speaking Filipino language, they will not talk to you in English. My kids will talk to you in the Filipino language. Even if you try to talk to them in English, no, they will answer you in a fluent Filipino language. And they were always happy if they hear somebody speaking the language. They will say, "Mom, they're Filipinos." Yeah, of course, you can hear them talking Filipino. And they're very happy because they know what they're talking about. They can hear them. And what's one funny anecdote I have with my kids when I brought them first time in the Philippines. I brought them back because it was my parents' 50th anniversary. So we have to go on vacation. I finally brought the kids back home, so my relatives I can introduce them to my relatives back home. And we were in this resort in the Philippines. And when I heard somebody talking in Tagalog in the pool, a Filipino in the pool, I know it's my kids. Yeah, because I can hear their voices. They're talking Filipino. And what was funny is they befriend one of a Filipino kid. And the thing is that Filipino kid doesn't speak Filipino. She can only speak English. That kid was raised and living in the Philippines, and yet she doesn't know how to talk in Filipino. She can only talk in English. So my kids they were friends. They friend this kid in the resort, and they were talking, and the caregiver approached me and she said, "Ma'am, I heard your kids, you guys are from Canada." And I told her, "Yes, we are." Well, I'm talking to her in our language. We were from Canada. We're just visiting family here. And she's like, "But their Filipino is very good," she said. And then when I heard them talking in English, they are so good as well. They have this different accent. Yeah, and then she said she was happy and surprised because the kid that she's taking care of, she doesn't know how to talk in Filipino. She can only speak English. And my kids are the one who are very fluent talking in Filipino. Yeah, so that's one of the funniest thing when we were back home. And my relatives, my cousins, they keep on talking to them in English. And I told them, "No, talk to them in Tagalog, in Filipino. They can understand and they can talk to you." But then I think they are just practicing their English. That's why.
And why couldn't the other kid speak Filipino? Because you said the kid was raised in Philippines, but they couldn't speak Filipino.
Yeah, I think they are speaking a different dialect, not Tagalog. Tagalog is mostly in Manila. It was spoken widely in Manila. But if you are coming from another province, some parts of the Philippines, like on the southern part or even in the most northern part, it's a different dialect. So I think we do have 85 dialects in total in the Philippines.
And how do you say the language again? Tagalog?
Tagalog is, when you say Filipino, it's the mostly widely, or it's like Tagalog, but it's still different in a way. There are terms in Filipino that's different. When they say it in Tagalog, it's very different. But Filipino is how we officially say that's our language, Filipino. But then there are still 85 dialects, other dialects.
Okay. And how do you spell Tagalog?
Tagalog is T, as in Tagalog, T-A-G-A, L-O-G, Tagalog.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, mostly if like me, I was born in Manila, so I mostly speak Tagalog. So if like my husband, he was raised in Manila, but he can understand a dialect from where his mom and dad was raised. So it's a different part of Philippines. It's on the southernmost part of the Philippines. They speak a different dialect.
Okay. So you speak Filipino at home, but because you have many Filipino customers, you would
Yes.
often speak Filipino at your shop.
Yes,
Is that right?
that's true. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not so hard to converse with them because they miss conversing in Tagalog or in Filipino in other shop, because if they go to Walmart they cannot speak the language as well, right? So if they are in a Filipino store, mostly they are very happy to converse with you comfortably. It's because that's what they are comfortable to speak, right? They don't feel like the pressure to speak in English, or it's just like a regular conversation, like they are still in the Philippines, they are back home. It gives them this feeling that they are just back home. There's a lot of Filipino in my shop, so sometimes they know each other, or sometimes they're just happy to share their recipes.
Hello?
Yeah, so
Yeah. Sorry. And you said they would share recipes?
yes,
Cooking
yeah.
recipes?
Like Filipino recipes, because not everybody has, because I think Filipino recipe is quite how to say it, it's complicated in a way. In every province they like adobo is a very popular dish of Filipinos, adobo. But the thing with adobo is, if you are coming from Manila, your adobo is with just soy sauce and vinegar. That's the main ingredient. But if you're going to the northern part of the Philippines, their adobo is just vinegar. That's the thing. They have their own different version. Every places in the Philippines, they have their different versions of adobo. So that's why, if you are talking with customers, or customers talking to other customers, they are sharing their own recipes, how they cook it in their province or in their hometown. Yeah, it's different. That's why we just realized that the reason why there's not much of a Filipino restaurant, or it was not well known as Japanese cuisine, or if it's not like the Vietnamese cuisine, that pho is Vietnamese, right? And there's a lot of popular restaurants here with those kind of cuisines, right? It's popular with Canadians. But why is it there is not much popular, or Filipino cuisine is not much popular with Canadians? It's because we have our different kinds of version of adobo. Unlike sushi, if they make sushi, it's just one recipe, right? It's just one taste. It's uniform. It's a uniform taste. But with Filipinos, we have our different version of adobo. We have our different version of so there's a lot of variation with that. So that's why Filipino cuisine will not be very popular with Canadians. Hello?
Thank you. Yes. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I could hear the audio was like cut off. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
because
it's
somebody's
good now.
trying to call, so there's a call coming in. So
Okay. Yeah. But it's good now. I was wondering if you could share like one of your recipes with us, like not now, but like maybe you could write it down and we can like pick it up to your from your shop or sometime.
yeah, of course.
And like
I will
with the
try to do that. So what
ingredients
would you
from
want
your
to have?
shop.
Do you like the adobo recipe?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to give you our adobo recipe, the Tagalog version, the Manila version.
Okay. And can we share it with like the visitors of the museum and everyone?
I'm sorry. Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Daphne. So yeah, let me know if it went well, if you need more. So yeah, okay.
Can I just ask you one more question?
Okay, yeah.
In what ways does the business represent you as a person?
No, it gives me more of I think it's more of positively affected me having this business. It makes you feel grounded, and as well as you are more kinder, more patient. It makes you a better person if you are having a store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a positive. It's very positive for me.
Yeah, I think I didn't ask the question clearly. So I wanted to ask was, in what ways does the business represent you as a person? Like, how does your personality being represented into the business?
Oh, my personality.
Mm-hmm. Or your family's personality.
Well, I'm actually raised in a. Okay, just hang on, Daphne. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Nandun yung pera niya. Nandun sa may lata or nandun sa may puti. Nalagay ko sa envelope yun. May pera ni Nanay Rosy. Oh, mas malapit yung pangalan ni Nanay Rosy. Oh, okay. So, did you say how it affected me?
No, how does the business represent you, or how has your personality become part of the business?
Oh, I was raised in I had mentioned before I was raised in this kind of business as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when growing up, we own a rice store,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like the same as what I'm doing right now. It's just at a small business back home. But then, I think this is already in my blood. It's because I saw my dad how he's doing his business with our neighbors as our customers back home. So that's why I know somehow how to do it, how to deal with customers. So I think my personality, they know me as somebody who's very bubbly, very friendly, and that they can depend on if they have some questions, like about remittances. I'm for doing the business for 10 years, so I'm quite familiar with a lot of rules, regulations about sending money back home. So I think that's why they trust me a lot. So I think that's the traits that I have to represent the business.
Okay, thank you. So that's all the questions I have for today. But and I apologize, but the recording didn't get the first two questions in our interview. So could you please repeat your? I'm going to repeat the questions, and could you repeat your answers? So, Connie, what's your full name?
Oh, my full name is Consuelo, Consuelo, and the last name is Bacalares, V as in Victor, Acalares.
And is there any stories behind your name?
Yes, the story is I was named after my grandmother. Her name was Consolacion. So my mom told me that she gave me that name because I wasn't able to meet my grandmother. She died early, so that's why my mom gave me her name as a remembrance to remember her. So yeah, that's what the name is. But I think Consuelo is it's a Spanish name because we've been colonized for 300 years by Spaniards. So a lot of our customs, a lot of our tradition, even some of our languages are borrowed from Spanish language. So that's why a lot of names in the Philippines back then is mostly influenced by the Spaniards.
But the Filipinos today no longer speak Spanish, or do they still speak Spanish?
Some of the provinces, they still have the language, but it's actually more of the broken Spanish language. It's not really the pure Spanish language, but it's already like it's a how you say it. It's just like French, like right. Canadian French is different from
the French.
In France. So it's the same thing. In the Philippines, some of our languages is still borrowed from the Spanish language. But then some provinces that was hardly colonized by the Spaniards, they still speak the language, but it's already like a mixed language.
Okay.
A dialect and a Spanish language.
Okay, that was very informative. Thank you.
Yes.
So that's all the questions we have today. Thank you so much, Connie, for participating in our interview, and thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that I didn't cover?
Actually, I think that's all I can share with you. But if you have more things that you want to know, you just give me an email or just tell me when we can talk again, or if you still have more, you need more information, just let me know then. Yeah.
Okay. And you promised to give us to share with us your recipe.
Oh yeah, sure.
We can like come to your shop sometime next week. Could you like
I'll
remember
try
to?
I'll try to remember that I owe you a recipe of adobo.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much again for your time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Daphne. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.